First on SU News, we have a look inside the JFK files, and the questions keep piling up. Plus, tolls may be added to some of Boston's major highways. Find out what residents have to say. And right-wing protesters plan to hold a Resist the Public rally later this month. But the city of Boston is resisting right back. It's all coming up on SU News.
The story starts here, in the heart of the city.
We've been following this story since it first broke.
Everybody's waiting to find out what's next. It's an issue for residents here and around Boston.
Now, the city is buzzing.
It's a story you first saw on SU News.
It's the talk of the town.
It's all coming up on SU News.
Welcome to SU News, the weekly news program brought to you by the Department of Communications and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Matt Brown.
And I'm Jacob Toby. We start today with an update out of Washington. The John F. Kennedy assassination documents have been released, and we're getting a look at them. SU News reporter Brandon Hyde is live in the studio with the story. Brandon?
Matt and Jacob, President Trump blocked the release of over 200 records on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. But the documents that were released may have left more questions than answers.
Bits and pieces of information on the JFK assassination have been revealed, and the mystery behind Lee Harvey Oswald continues to add fuel to the fire of conspiracy theories. The CIA director under Kennedy was asked in 1975 whether Oswald was a CIA agent, but his answer isn't revealed in the document. The next page is missing. There are also questions regarding Oswald's potential links to the KGB. 2 months before the assassination, the CIA intercepted a call Oswald made to a KGB agent at the Russian embassy in Mexico City. The files also show the FBI got a death threat against Oswald the day before he was shot. With all of these questions hanging in the balance, one visitor outside the JFK Presidential Library and Museum in Boston says it's about time to release all of the files.
I'm always sort of suspicious of the system when they withhold things, and if there is some truth about the way he died, then I think it should come out. I think the public have a right to know, and it's that long ago. I don't think it would change that much, to be quite honest, but yeah, I think the public have a right to know if there was something a little bit questionable.
President Trump did tweet out saying the files are being carefully released and wants the rest of the records to become public. And the FBI said Monday the remaining documents will be released by the National Archives on a rolling basis in the coming weeks.
So for now, the mystery surrounding President John F. Kennedy's assassination will remain in question. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Brandon Hyde, SU News.
Thanks, Brandon. Ever since introducing the statewide Easy Pass initiative, the state has been looking for more ways to update its roads and highways. Now a state senator has presented a proposal trying to add more tolls to all major highways into and out of Boston. SU News reporter Mary Boucher has the story.
The reason for tolls being added is to establish toll charges that address the operating and capital requirements of the Metropolitan Highway System.
So I already pay a toll to get into the city of Boston. I live on the other side of the tunnel, so I pay a toll every morning. It's not going to have any impact on me.
The CLT Executive Director, Chip Ford, challenged the need for tolls. He stated to the committee that Massachusetts needs to control its unreasonable high construction and maintenance. Throwing more taxpayer money at a failing transportation system is not the solution. It's only adding fuel to the fire.
I commute from Worcester. Every day I have classes, which is 4 days a week. I pass approximately 6 tolls each way. I already paid, my very first month, my monthly toll bill came to $148. My issue where I stand is that Suffolk does not have a parking lot in itself, so I already paid $350 for monthly parking to begin with, on top of tolls, which is about like 120 to 140 averaging, how many times I have to come to school. For example, I have school, there's some classes that will make me come just for a day to spend a day in a library. So it will affect me if more tolls are added.
Research by the Reason Foundation in 2016, Massachusetts spends about 320% more than the national average for every mile of state road infrastructure built or maintained.
More tolls in the city of Boston means more money needed for Boston drivers like yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I drive all the time. I pay at least $6, over $6 when I drive, Sumner Tunnel, Mass Pike. So it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle, definitely. So Massachusetts may join Puerto Rico and much of the Caribbean in the Atlantic time zone, but it looks like we'll still be falling back for the near future. SU News reporter Julian Sanchez is live in Boston with the story.
Yes, Matt, Massachusetts may be moving to a year-round daylight savings time.
Special Commission in Massachusetts came together on Wednesday to discuss changing time zones. The commission has decided that there is no reason to be changing the clocks twice a year. Studies have shown that moving back an hour increases the rate of accidents and energy would be saved if the clocks weren't moved back. But people are concerned of the consequences of this possible change.
I'd have to disagree. I mean, the fact that in the morning the night will still be there and the kids going to school is a concern that raises. In terms of just like if you go to New Hampshire, if you leave here and you're going to New Hampshire and it's 4 here, then all of a sudden it's 5 over there. So it's like, it's the Northeast all on board. I think it's something that needs to be done with all the states in the Northeast, not just one state. And just the priority of it isn't very huge right now. I think there's other things that could be focused on other than the fact that we're switching an hour behind,
The commission has suggested that a solution to kids going to school when it's dark could be later start times. But in order to make this change, they would need the support of the rest of New England and possibly New York to avoid disruption in businesses, broadcasting schedules, and transportation.
Other states in New England are considering the switch, but there is still a lot of controversy over when and if it will be done. For SU News, Joelyn Sanchez.
Thanks, Julian. Coming up, a rally to resist the city, how one political group is going against the city's wishes, all in the name of free speech.
And we'll slide into a feature on the Suffolk men's soccer team. Stay with us, SU News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Earlier this week, a right-wing group was denied a permit by the mayor's office to hold a Resist the Republic rally on the Boston Common.
Yeah, Jacob, and despite their inability to get a permit, the group still plans on holding that rally later this month. Resist Marxism is a group that labels themselves as, quote, an umbrella organization who work together to defend free speech from government suppression and violent mobs. Rally organizers applied for a permit to hold the Resist the Republic rally on the Boston Common on September 18th in response to the original free speech rally in August.
Leave! Nobody wants you here! Go home!
On October 26th, Boston Parks Commissioner Christopher Cook denied that permit due to the Parade Ground Fun Run being held that same day, instead offering a permit for the next day, Sunday, November 19th. Immediately following, Resist Marxism released a statement on their website saying in part, "We have a right to peaceably assemble under the First Amendment of the Constitution and will exercise that right. However, now flight and hotel arrangements have already been made and it is too late to move the event to another day." While Mayor Marty Walsh told news sources he is not going to prevent the rally from convening, the mayor did say he wishes they would change the day or not hold a rally at all. Before and after the August free speech rally, Mayor Walsh also condemned the rally and hate in Boston.
We also have a message to the hate groups, especially any that are planning to come to our city this weekend. Boston does not welcome you here. Boston does not want you here. Boston rejects your message.
On their website, Resist Marxism says speakers and times will be posted in the coming weeks. A successful season has come to an end for the Suffolk men's soccer team, but this won't kick down their goals for the future. SU News reporter Olivia Ladon has more on the story.
The Suffolk men's soccer team had a successful regular season this year, but it came to an end on Sunday in Game 1 of the playoffs. With just 7 seconds remaining, the Rams came within inches of tying the game, but the team couldn't capitalize and fell 1-0 to St. John's. The Suffolk Rams had a 9-6-1 record this season with a total of 38 goals and 23 assists. Although the season came to an end, the team will continue to work and prepare for next season.
Overall, just staying together as a team and, going through week by week, day by day, practice by practice, just growing as a family and growing as a team. We've become a lot closer and a lot stronger.
And head coach Andy Tucker is hopeful of his young talent.
This season has been an up and down season for us. I think, a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're very young. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing. It's because we're so young. We have the ability to be very dynamic and give a lot of guys opportunities to get in and to make an impact.
Goalie John Brodeur kept the Rams in the game with 13 stops and a hard-fought losing effort. The Rams say they're excited to come back next season even stronger. In Boston, Olivia Ladon, SU News.
Now to the NFL, where another protest broke out during the national anthem last Sunday, not because of comments made by the president, but this time comments made by an NFL owner. Texans owner Bob McNair was under fire last week for comments he made regarding NFL players during an owners' meeting. ESPN's Outside the Lines quoted McNair saying that we can't have inmates running the prison. Players and fans were outraged at McNair's choice of words.
I think McNair's comments were absolutely absurd. Comparing inmates to NFL players is something that's not only appropriate, but it doesn't actually even really make sense to me. People tune in to the NFL for the players. Nobody tunes in to watch, the owners sit in the box and watch the game.
Texans star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins left practice last Friday in protest of McNair's comments. And in response, McNair apologized for his words, saying that, quote, "I regret that I used that expression. I never meant to offend anyone, and I was not referring to our players. I used a figure of speech that was never intended to be taken literally." During Sunday's game versus the Seattle Seahawks, all but 6 Texans players kneeled for the national anthem, as players across the NFL continue to fight for social justice.
He shouldn't have used the phrase, obviously, and he probably should have apologized to his players immediately and in person afterward. In the current climate, and the contentiousness that you have in the NFL this season between owners and players and the president, any little slip of the tongue is going to be, magnified.
More NFL news, this time coming out of Foxborough. The New England Patriots traded away backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo to the San Francisco 49ers for a second-round pick on Monday. Garoppolo was drafted by the franchise in 2014 and was in the last year of his contract. Following the trade, the Pats signed veteran backup quarterback Brian Hoyer to a 3-year deal. Hoyer signed with New England in 2009 and played 4 seasons, backing up the GOAT, Tom Brady.
So, Jacob, I know you have a lot of opinions on the trade of Garoppolo. What do you think? Do you think he's going to do good?
I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he'll be maybe a top 10 quarterback in the league, maybe not necessarily a top 2 or 3, but a good trade for the 49ers. Patriots do get a second-round pick, so maybe it works out for both sides.
Exactly, and Hoyer's been with the organization before. I think he might do well as,
Hey, Brady's playing for a long time, so we may even need to see Hoyer.
Very true, exactly. In other sports news, Celtic star Gordon Hayward is finally opening up about his injury sustained in the first game of the C's season. In his first press conference since the season-ending injury, Hayward opened up to the press about his emotions on the injury, as well as his progress since that has transpired.
Through the rehab process, I'll be with the guys. I haven't had a chance to be with them too much recently. I think yesterday was one of the first times that I saw him and got a chance to be around him for a little bit. It's going to be really important, I think, for me and my mental health to stay involved, to still be a part of the team.
Coming up next, a local college student took the perfect photo from overseas, and we'll show you who's winning that national prize for it.
And animal rights activists are marking their territory. Stay with us.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
And we're back from Boston to beyond. A local college student is taking her eye for the perfect photograph to our nation's capital.
Yeah, Jacob, I actually studied abroad with her in Madrid, and I'm pretty good friends with her, and I can tell you that she has really an artistic view of the world. SU News reporter Kelly Mitchell has more.
A Suffolk University senior will be honored in Washington, D.C. this weekend for winning a national photography contest, but she got her start right here in the streets of Boston. It's a picture-perfect birthday for Suffolk University senior Nicole Casciotti. She'll spend her 22nd birthday being honored in D.C. at a photography gala for the National Italian American Foundation.
It was beyond my wildest dreams. I was like, I won? Like, I didn't expect that.
Nicole got the news 2 weeks ago at work. Her submission, titled The Lovers, or Liamanti, had won the foundation's photo competition, beating out hundreds of submissions worldwide from amateurs and professionals.
I remember seeing this couple walking down the street and they were holding hands, and I just thought that was such a special moment, and I really wanted to capture it, and they moved just perfectly in between the buildings, and I got it.
Nicole took the shot in Siena, Italy, because the small streets reminded her of one of her favorite places to photograph, Boston's North End.
It's a sleepy little town, like there's not a lot of people, so it's really fun to photograph because the streets are really quiet, but there will be some intimate moments.
She's been featured in magazines around Boston and has even hosted her own gallery in the North End. But the Melrose native first started photography after her mother suggested she try it.
I remember taking my mom's Nikon film camera when I was younger and shooting around the back streets of Boston.
And now Nicole's excited that what started as a hobby is getting national attention.
So to have people want to publish it in magazines and want to share it with other people around the world and appreciate it for how beautiful that I think those moments were is really special to me.
Nicole says one day she'd like to open galleries all over the world to share what she calls cultural experiences through art. In Boston, I'm Kelly Mitchell, SU News.
A moving crowd and chants covered the streets of Boston this weekend for a march to protect animal rights. SU News reporter Cecilia Favela has more.
Today, people from all over Massachusetts came together for one cause, and that is love for animals.
Animals do not want to die!
This past Sunday, the Boston Animal Advocates and the Light Movement organized a march in honor of the World Vegan Day. The march that started at the Boston Common and ended at Kenmore Square had a clear message to the community.
To spread compassion, love, and make the world a better place, and be very aware of what you're purchasing in stores and what you're paying into.
The 1.8-mile march invited everyone to join their cause. This included activists, vegetarians, vegans, and even animals themselves.
It's a brand new thing. Like, there's no judgment towards anyone that isn't vegan. It's more about spreading information, spreading knowledge, and getting people to really consider where that product in the supermarket comes from.
This demonstration attracted nearly 100 people, which came for a diversity of purposes.
We want to make sure that future generations have a habitable planet, breathable planet to live on in the future.
Spread truth about veganism, about how switching to a plant-based diet is way better for the planet, way better for the animals, and way better for your own personal health.
At the end, activists said the outcome of this march was very rewarding.
You don't realize just how extensive vegetarian and veganism have become, so it has grown and it has gained some respect, and I think that's wonderful.
So many vegans can feel like they're the only vegans sometimes, but today is a happy day because we're surrounded by people like us, and it's just amazing.
And even though there was rain throughout the long walk, this didn't stop people to continue to walk and chant to spread their message across. In Boston, Cecilia Favela, SU News.
That does it here for SU News. I'm Jacob Toby.
And I'm Matt Brown. We'll be back next week here on SU News. See you then.